Hey YouTube, it's Charlie from Reader Turned Writer, and today I am talking about flat character arcs. Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody has a great breakdown of the beats and how it relates to story structure, but I have found that her beats really focus on a positive character arc and the change that a character would make in a positive arc. And so today I just wanted to look at how it would be different if you were doing a flat character arc and what it might look like, some of the different beats, and what each of the beats looks like in a flat character arc, and like what their purpose is and what you would do during those beats to really drive home the change that is happening around the character, because that's what a flat character arc is when your main character stays the same throughout the story and the world around them or people around them change in accordance to how they stay the same. I did do a video on positive character arcs and you can check that out here. I also have a Save the Cat beats breakdown if you want just an overview of what each of the beats is, and that is here. I think it's on that side, and I will also link it down below in the comments. And I do have a bullet page to help explain how the beats work, so I will jump over to that and jump right into flat character arcs in Save the Cat Beats.
The first act has some similarities with a positive arc, with the main difference being the main character's belief and consequent growth or lack of. In a positive arc, the main character has a lie that they believe, which drives their character arc. For a flat character arc, the main character believes the truth, while the world around them believes the lie. The theme is manifested through the others in the world as they change, while the main character remains the same, hence a flat character arc. For example, the theme in Pollyanna is optimism. Pollyanna already believes the truth that you can find, quote, glad things, as she calls them, or the good in any situation. So then the people around her, especially her aunt, don't believe that at the beginning of the book. There are those who see the bad, like the lady that she brings food to who is always sick and always has something bad to say about her situation. And there are others who think they are simply practical, like her aunt. But without fail, every character she runs into reinforces that the truth is false that Pollyanna believes. By the end of the story, though, Pollyanna has helped everyone around her see that there really is something good in every situation, no matter how bad it is. Because of this difference, the role of side characters changes throughout the book, maybe even making them more prominent. Because we read stories to see the change and growth of characters, and because in flat character arcs the main character doesn't change all that much, our need for change is fulfilled by those that the main character helps to transform, or the side characters. Positive character arcs assure us that we can change. Flat character arcs help us believe that we can change the world around us. In Act 1, no matter what kind of arc you are focusing on, you need to show the need for change, because that is the driving force behind your story and the rest of the book. To do this, you show how unhappy the character is in the life they are currently living. In a flat character arc, the cause of this unhappiness is focused on the broken system of the world they live in. When I say system, that can mean something like a government, for example, Hunger Games, but it can also just mean the way people do things. For example, the negativity that Pollyanna is surrounded by when she first comes to the town. In that example, the negativity would be the system. Most everyone around the main character supports or endures the system, but you can choose one main side character to give a positive arc to focus on. For example, in Pollyanna, the main focus is on the aunt, even though everyone in the town changes. Another example would be Back to the Future, where Marty McFly changes his father, but then that impacts the rest of Marty's entire world. The first beat in Act 1 is the opening image. This is a snapshot of the main character's life. It should show the main character in action, but also gives us an idea of what their everyday life is like before we, as the author, come in to shake things up. It should introduce the theme by showing us, or at least hinting at, the effects of the rotten system in the world they live in. This is followed by the setup. The setup is a series of scenes that show us the main character's before life more in depth. This is where you really get to show us how desperately the character needs a change. In this case, they either need a new world or to change their current world. It's important to show how personally affected your main character is by the flaws in the world, and to also really show the main character's belief in the truth and how that causes them to butt up against the system and the conflict that causes. Somewhere in Act 1, you should have the short beat theme stated. This is simply a statement that hints at the theme. In a flat arc, the statement would be about the world's flaw rather than the main characters. The beat that shakes things up is the catalyst, or the inciting incident. It happens to the main character and serves to push them into their Act 2 world. It should be a big enough event that the main character can't go back to their old life. In a positive arc, it pushes them to start making internal changes. But in a flat arc, the catalyst is what sets your character on the path that will ultimately lead them to changing the people and the world around them. A great example of this is the Hunger Games. When Prim's name is called, that sets Katniss on a path towards the Hunger Games, which ultimately leads her to fighting President Snow and the corrupt government, a path that would be very difficult, if not impossible, to deviate from. The final beat in Act 1 is the debate scene. This gives your main character a chance to digest whatever just happened in the catalyst, because it was a big deal, and decide what to do next, or prepare for what's coming next. In a flat character arc, Act 2 is all about the main character facing the world and their broken viewpoints. They are strong throughout the book in their correct viewpoint, but they are challenged in every way imaginable. During Act 2, the main character should be punished again and again for their steadfast belief in the truth when everyone else believes the lie. Despite the punishment, they need to stick with their original belief. The first beat of Act 2 is Break into 2, which is the main character actively moving into Act 2. The catalyst happens to them, but in Break into 2, they actively decide to move forward on this new path. Then they have their B-story beat, which is where they are introduced to the new characters in Act 2. These characters, or character, will often be the ones with a character arc influenced by the main character's unwavering belief in the truth. The first half of Act 2 is the fun and games beat. This beat is called the promise of the premise because this is where you deliver on whatever you said your book was about. For example, Harry at Wizarding School, Katniss in the Hunger Games, etc. It might not be fun for your character, but it should be fun for the reader. In a flat arc, this is often the place where the main character is simply reacting to the world around them. The world's flaw is causing things to happen, and your main character is being swept along with it. The next beat, the midpoint, is literally the middle of the book. It raises the stakes and pivots your character, beginning to push them towards really changing the people or world around them. Then we come to the second half of Act 2. Bad guys close in. By now, the tension should be escalating quickly. The main character should be feeling a lot of pressure from the conflicting views of the world around them. In the first half of this act, remember, they were reacting. Now, in the second half, they are much more proactively fighting against the system. All that tension leads to their All is Lost, where our main character hits rock bottom. For a flat character arc, this is where the main character finally gives in to the lie, temporarily. It is their lowest point because they have finally given up on what they have held so steadfastly to up until now. This needs to be a big event, something big enough to push them to accepting the lie. This makes me think of the DreamWorks movie Spirit, which my 6-year-old absolutely loves. Spirit couldn't be broken and he couldn't be broken. He's faced with trial after trial and he wasn't giving up his freedom. Literally nothing could make him do it until they shoot his new horse friend and capture him again and put him on a train. Then he gives up. But it's just temporary because during his dark night of the soul, he envisions his herd and that gives him the strength to once again fight for his freedom. So during their dark night of the soul, they get to wallow and feel sorry for themselves, beating themselves up for not seeing the truth, which is really the lie, sooner. Their epiphany is that they realize they were right all along, and they get a boost of determination. My husband and I always joke that these moments are like a psych moment. Oh look, they're giving up. Oh psych, they're actually going to believe what they believed the whole movie, or the whole book. This boost of determination leads them to the first beat of Act 3, Break into 3. This is simply where they take on a specific action based on their epiphany. The third act shows the completion of the positive character arcs on the side characters and the main character coming up against the world's view head on. This is shown during the finale or Storm the Castle, which is broken up into 5 parts. The castle in Storm the Castle is a metaphor. It just means this is the beat where the main character finally gets to save the day. The first part is Gather the Team, which is exactly what it sounds like. They find people, usually their friends that they've made along the way, to help them enact their plan. Here they might also gather supplies and prepare for whatever their Storm the Castle is. The second part is Execute the Plan. This is also exactly what it sounds like. They go and do what they planned. And it all seems to be going great. Their crazy plan is working until the third section, the High Tower Surprise. This is an unexpected roadblock in their way that makes it so their original plan doesn't work. It should also be very closely related to the theme of the book, as this is your chance to highlight the change that has happened throughout the book. It's a chance to prove the side characters have completed their arcs and to prove that the main character no longer has any reservations at all about their belief in their truth. They've gone through everything they possibly could at this point and are rock solid. Nothing can shake them now. The High Tower surprise leads to the Dig Down Deep, where your main character has to look deep into themselves and stay strong, and execute the new plan, where they overcome the High Tower surprise to still win the day. The resolution usually ends with the world changing around the main character for the better. We get to see that in the final beat, the final image, which mirrors the opening image and shows us how wonderful our main character's life is now that they have changed the world. So there is a breakdown of how each beat would work in a flat character arc compared to a positive one. Some of the beats don't change much, but some are fairly different. I have still found each of the beats in the flat character arc books and movies that I've seen. Some of my favorite flat arcs include The Martian, Pollyanna, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Spirit, A Bug's Life, Back to the Future, Divergent, and Little Lord Fauntleroy. What is your favorite book or movie that features a flat character arc? Do you agree or disagree with any of my analysis? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to discuss. And let me know if you have any questions or would like to see more about flat character arcs. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for lots of writing content. Thank you so much for watching my video. I will see you in the next one.